So I'm going to introduce myself before I start the class.
Okay.
So, I'm Srinivas, having 20 plus years experience. I started my career with UNIX.
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. Can you check the internet?
Just a minute. Just a minute. So I started my career with UNIX, one of the Unix operating system. I worked on Sun Solaris, HP Unix, IBM AX. All these are Unix variants. And storage technologies like SAN, NAS, Veritas Volume Manager, Veritas Cluster Service, Veritas Net Backup. I am currently working on cloud, AWS, and DevOps. So this is my profile. So today we are going to start the Linux basics, Linux fundamentals, and shell scripting. The duration of the class, the total duration of the course is 30 days. 2 weeks, 2 weeks Linux fundamentals, and 2 weeks shell scripting. Basically, in IT we have two types of jobs. One is programming, the other one is non-programming. You can choose any one, your career as a programmer or administrator. Non-programming comes under admin. The programming like Java, .NET, Python, shell scripting, SQL, PLC. All this comes under programming. If you want to choose a career as a programmer, you can go for any one of these. Comparing with Java, .NET, Python, shell scripting, SQL, PLS has less number of jobs, not that much of growth if you go for shell scripting, SQL, PLS. You have more opportunities in Python and Java or .NET. But who are eligible for this programming? Who are having BTech background, BTech computers, or any or MCA background? Those are eligible for this programming. But what about if the person doesn't have a BTech background, BCA background, BSc background, or any other degree? They can go for administration. They can go as an administrator. What are those we have? Windows admin, Linux admin, networking, cloud. So we don't require any programming skills for these technologies. Now the current market, the current trend trending technology that is called DevOps, which includes both programming and admin, both development and operation. So these people require any programming language, either shell scripting or Java or Python, because here we have two teams, development team and operation team. So the trending technologies what? DevOps. DevOps with cloud, DevOps with AWS, DevOps with Azure. So this course designed for 30 days. 2 weeks we are going to discuss about Linux fundamentals, Linux basics. The other 2 weeks we are going to discuss about the shell scripting. So there are two types of scripting we have. One is called batch scripting. The other we call shell scripting. Batch scripting in Windows, shell scripting in Linux or UNIX. Basically nowadays from Windows 2012, in place of batch scripting, we call it as a PowerShell. PowerShell in Microsoft, shell scripting in Linux. So to understand how to write this shell scripting, before you understand the scripting language, you need to understand the basic commands. What are the commands we are going to discuss in 1-2 week classes? Those commands we are going to use in the script. So without having knowledge on the basics, I can't write any scripting or shell scripting in Linux. So basically, you need to understand in Windows or Linux, there are two types of accounts. There are two types of accounts in Windows or Linux. In Windows, we call as a administrator account. The other one we call as a normal user account. Administrator and normal user. Whereas in Unix or Linux, there are two types of accounts. One is called root account. Root is the administrator login name. Root is the administrator login name. We also call it as a super user. Root user or super user, both are same. Whenever I logged as a root user, you'll see the prompt as a hash prompt. We'll see the prompt as a hash prompt. Hash indicates you're the super user or administrator. If I logged as a normal user, you'll see that the prompt as $prompt. Dollar indicates you're the programmer, you're the developer, you're the normal user. If you go to ATM counter, ATM machine, and log in as ATM user, that means you're the normal user. Only we can draw the amount, we can see the balance amount, we can change the PIN number. Other than that, we can't do anything because you're just a normal user. If you log into the gmail.com, yahoo.com, we can send the mails, we can check the mails, we can receive the mails because you are just a normal user. Other than that, we can't do anything. So who are administrator, who are root user, who can control entire server? You see here, as a login prompt, I'm giving the login name as a root and password. Give the login name, root and password. So what the prompt I got? Hash prompt. Because I logged as a root. What's the command to know who is logged in? type VMI. What is VMI? To see the current logged in user. To know the current logged in user, run the command VMI. Other than root, all are normal users. So what prompt we got? Dollar prompt. Dollar indicates you are the normal user or the programmer or developer. So what is showing that you are the test user. This is the basic difference between Windows and UNIX. Windows operating system is not a case sensitive. Windows operating system is not a case sensitive. What is the meaning of not a case sensitive? You can see the folder uppercase, lowercase. It doesn't bother about is it upper or lowercase. For example, in Windows we have a command called dir to see the files and folders. Here the command is all the characters are lowercase. I can also use uppercase. I can also use combination of lower and uppercase. That is called not a case sensitive. When I'm trying to change the folder, desktop is the folder name CD desktop. But here only D is uppercase, remaining all lowercase. It will accept that because it is not a case sensitive. Whereas Unix or Linux always case sensitive. Commands should be lowercase, cannot be uppercase. All the Unix commands cannot be uppercase, only lower. Here we have commands and variables. In Unix, we have commands and variables. Commands always lowercase, variables always uppercase. This you need to understand while writing the shell scripting. Where we have to use lowercase, where we have to use uppercase. For example, I type ls. What is ls? List the files and directories. ls list the files and directories. If I type uppercase, command not found. If I type combination, command not found. So all the commands should be lowercase. Another example, in Unix we have so many types of shells. What is shell? Yeah, definitely. If you are not technical background, you don't have technical background, you are not BCA, MCA, or BTech, better you go for administration class courses like cloud or DevOps or Linux admin. They are the best for non-technical background.
Yeah, for going DevOps admin, I need to learn Linux, right, Srinivas?
Definitely,
From
DevOps require
I'm
Linux
little
administration.
I'm little bit of fear about see, because I'm not technical guy. I just studied degree. So that so what I
When
need
did
to
you
learn
pass
first, I
out?
need to
When
yeah
did you pass
last
out?
year 2019 passed out.
Okay. So because you are 2019 passed out,
Yeah.
so we can go for cloud AWS with DevOps. Generally, compare with freshers, for 1 year 2 years experience has lot of number of opportunities compared with as a fresher. Because you're 2019 passed out, you have 1 years gap. That gap we can keep as a experience. With that 2 years experience, we get a number of like requirement. We can go for with 2 years experience because you have a gap, right?
Yeah,
So
yes,
we can take
Srinivas.
this document from outside. So we'll provide the document if you want. You can try on DevOps with AWS, which there's no programming skills required for cloud and DevOps.
Okay. Okay, sir.
But definitely,
Thanks, Srinivas.
but definitely, DevOps required Linux administration, not only the basic commands. You need
Okay.
an administration in depth so that you can easily understand the DevOps. Because what are the DevOps we are going to discuss? This DevOps we are going to set up or configure on Linux server. So without
Okay.
strong knowledge on Linux admin, you can't able to work on DevOps.
Okay. First, I need to learn Linux. After that, I need to learn DevOps or AWS Cloud.
Yeah, once you complete the Linux admin, parallelly you can learn AWS and DevOps.
Okay, Srinivas. Thank you.
Linux admin means separate course is there, or this is a
Yeah, basically we designed two courses. One is Linux basics
this one is basics, I
with
think.
shell scripting.
Mhm.
This is one batch. The other batch is Linux basics with Linux administration. The difference here, there is no scripting because this was designed only for non-technical background. Or this was designed only for who don't have any programming skills.
Okay, Linux admin.
This
How many days classes are there for Linux admin?
it is
Is,
totally
here you said
uh,
that Linux basics will take 15 days. Shell scripting for is for 15 days, right? Do you have the same
yes,
for
yes,
the?
same, but
I
we
think
are
here
not
the
going to
same
take the shell
same
script.
basics is same. I think basic is a common.
Yeah,
If you want to
this is common.
go for
After that, Linux admin is a 40 hours class. Linux
40
basics
hours.
is yeah, Linux basics is like 7 hours or 10 hours class, and admin is 40 hours class. This course designed only for the non-programming who are not good at the programming, who are, don't have technical background. So after this, we can go for AWS, we can go for cloud.
Okay, but I require both the things like shell scripting also I require, and the same time Linux admin also required. So what's the best way?
No
Like,
problem.
will you take the section for?
Yeah, you contact the team.
Okay.
Uh, Maybe I don't have the knowledge on the how much they're charging for that. So we contact the team, then explain.
Mhm. Okay. To be frank, okay. Sir, is there any certifications are there, sir? After completing the course, like 30 days or something after spending time there. So there should be like if you do some certification like for other technologies, like we have certifications, right? We can do the some certifications, globally
Yes, yes.
recognized certificate. Do you have any such things
See,
like for?
you want to write the Linux certification, which is global certification from that hand. It costs 22,000.
Okay.
It costs 22,000.
Okay.
But you have to go for the center. It is totally practical, not theoretical, only practical. They'll give the server to you, and they
Mm-hmm.
also set up the servers, and then
Mm-hmm.
also to troubleshoot the problems. It is
Mm-hmm.
entirely practical.
Okay.
If you go for
So
like AWS certification, For AWS or any other certification in Hyderabad, the people are writing behalf of the student. They'll write the certificate behalf of you. You don't need to go for a center. Other than this Linux, any certification you get, if you pay some amount extra, you get the certification. Is any kind of certification you get without going to the center. But except Linux requires physical attendance, and the invigilator will sit in front of you. Everything you have to set up in front of the invigilator. So it is not possible to write the certification behalf of the student if it is Linux. So
Yeah,
my
like
first
if you go for
design,
the Linux admin, and if you go for the Linux admin and basics, no, then will we be able to complete the certification and all?
you can complete certification. So there are some institutions, certified centers, they're going to conduct the mock test.
Mock test, yeah, yes,
If you
mock
attend
test
my
will be there.
learning
Yeah.
class, if you attend my learning class, attend the mock test, 3 or 4 mock test, you are eligible to write the certification. Definitely will pass.
Okay.
So basically, my course designed for who are going to who are wanted with you have a 2 years gap, 3 years gap. You want to go with the 3 years experience, 4 years experience. So definitely then ask the real time scenarios. What type of issues you're going to face in the real time? What type of problems you face in the real time? So my course designed for who are going with 2 to 3 years, 4 years experience. So for those guys, this is very, very helpful. So with this knowledge, you can go with 2 to 3 years experience, 4 years experience also. So which basically certification is only basics. They won't go for the troubleshooting. There's no troubleshooting part. There is no real time in the certification. It's only basics. But my course designed real time with real time scenarios. What type of problems, what type of issues you're going to face in the real time, how to troubleshoot it. With that knowledge, you can go with experience. And also, this course designed for don't stop only with Linux admin. Don't stop only with Linux admin. Learn AWS developers for better career and for good package.
Okay.
Even if you're going for DevOps also, shell scripting is added advantage, not a mandatory. I'm not telling that mandatory, but having shell scripting is an added advantage even for Linux admin and even for DevOps. You take the course details for this Linux basic shell scripting submit batch. I'm having performed experience.
Yeah, hi Srinivas. I have one doubt.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
So recently I completed my BSc. So shall
Okay.
I go with the Linux and shell scripting for freshers? Do we have any chances?
Yes, yes. As a fresher, if you go with Linux with the shell scripting, it's better. You have good opportunities on
You
Linux admin and shell scripting. But
got any?
don't go with only basis and shell scripting. This is not helpful for you. You go with Linux basis with Linux admin.
Okay.
And
So but
shell
shell scripting is very good, right? So when we go to the industry, it is
yeah,
useful only, right?
yeah. It is better to go with Linux admin with shell scripting.
Okay. So how many days it will take to complete all the Linux and Linux admin and shell scripting?
It 45 days. That depends. If it take you a daily 1 hour, it will take 45 days. If it take
Okay.
1.5
What about the
hour,
Unix commands? It will cover on the Linux only.
yeah, there is no different like
Okay.
this and this. Both are same. Here only shell script is going to
So
add Here there is no shell scripting. If you want, we can also add the shell scripting in the same course content. There is no much difference, but basically
in DURGASOFT we got any
yeah,
sorry, you can go.
Yeah, as I told you, this Linux basis shell scripting we designed only for purely programmers and developers, not for the admin. So for admin, you can go for Linux basics, Linux admin along with shell scripting. If you are going for a developer, don't stop with the shell scripting. You have to learn SQL, PLSQL also. Don't stop with the shell scripting. Learn SQL, PLSQL also.
Okay, if I go for the Linux and shell scripting means we have to learn the SQL and PLSQL, right?
No. If you are going for non-programming, like you don't have technical background, you're not a big tech guy, then don't go for this SQL, PLSQL, shell scripting. Better go for this Linux basics, admin, and shell scripting.
Yeah, in DURGASOFT,
right?
any openings are there? So if companies are any company. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely the DURGASOFT will cover the requirement. There is going to set the requirement. Many openings are there. So we have a job assistance also apart from the training. Those details you can contact with the DURGASOFT.
So I want to go to the development. So when if I learn means Linux basic and shell scripting means I have to learn any SQL and PLSQL for that.
Yes, go
is
for
it
SQL, PLSQL, but better you go for Python.
Okay.
Very less opportunities if it is SQL, PLSQL. Better go for Python. Nowadays Python has lot of demands. So you better learn Python with DevOps. Better learn Python with DevOps. Opportunities. See, what the meaning of DevOps?
Python with DevOps is good, but freshers it will be not good, right? So
even freshers also there is a opportunities. Instead of learning only Python as a fresher, learn.
But in the market is very less, right, for freshers.
That's what. Any technology for freshers, the market is very less. It's true. That's why at least you have to give 1 year experience. But whether you go for as a fresher on Python, rather than that, Python with DevOps as a fresher, we have good opportunity. Instead of only Python with DevOps, we have good opportunity as a fresher.
Okay.
What I mean to say, don't stop with the shell scripting if you are going as a developer. Better learn Python or Java. If you are going for admin side, don't start with Linux basics, Linux admin. You better go with cloud and DevOps for good opportunity. Anything else? Any question?
Thank you. No.
నాకు మెయిన్ సర్టిఫికేషన్ కోసం హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు అంటే నాకు అడ్మిన్ లైనక్స్ బేసిక్స్ అండ్ లైనక్స్ అడ్మిన్ కావాలి, షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ కూడా కావాలి. యాక్చువల్గా షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ కూడా ఆన్ ద సేమ్ టైం లైనక్స్ సర్టిఫికేట్.
సర్టిఫికేషన్ మీకు సెంటర్స్ చెప్తాను, మీరు ఆ సెంటర్స్ కి రాసుకోండి.
అది రాస్తాను అట్లా సెంటర్స్కి వెళ్తాను. మెయిన్ ఏంటంటే నాకు నాన్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ సైడ్ వస్తున్నాను, కానీ షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ అనేది మేము కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి నాకు షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ కూడా కావాలి. కాకపోతే ఇక్కడ మరి నన్ను ఈ బ్యాచ్కి వెళ్ళమంటారు, ఇప్పుడు ప్రెజెంట్ బ్యాచ్ వచ్చేసరికి లైనక్స్ బేసిక్స్ అండ్ షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ కదా ఈ బ్యాచ్ ఇప్పుడు ప్రెజెంట్. ఇక్కడైతే మరి షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుందేమో కదా, ఇక్కడికి ఏమైనా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుందా? అంటే నాన్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ లో చెప్పేటప్పుడు షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ తక్కువ చెప్తారేమో కదా?
అలా లేదు. షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ మీరు లైనక్స్ అడ్మిన్ జాయిన్ అయినా సపరేట్ షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ జాయిన్ అయినా కోర్స్ అనేది ఒకటే, డ్యూరేషన్ అనేది ఒకటే. ఎప్పుడైతే నేను షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తానో ఆ బ్యాచ్ లో మిమ్మల్ని యాడ్ చేస్తాను. ఎనీ సపరేట్ బ్యాచ్ దీనికి దానికి సపరేట్ షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ బ్యాచ్ ఉండదు. షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు మిమ్మల్ని దాంట్లో యాడ్ చేస్తాను.
ఓకేనండి.
If you don't mind, you people can come at tomorrow 8 o'clock. 8 to 9.
Is it online classes or offline classes?
Only online classes.
Only online classes. Okay.
8 to 9 and classes.
8 to 9 tomorrow. I'm going to start the Linux basic command. That batch for both. That batch both for shell scripting and Linux basics. Tomorrow I'm going to start the startup installation part. So people are working with 8 to 9. You can join tomorrow 8 to 9. Everyone is okay 8 to 9? Or you want the same time?
సార్ నాకు ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా అయితే లినక్స్ బేసిక్స్, లినక్స్ అడ్మిన్, షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ 3 కావాలి సార్. ఈ బ్యాచ్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అయితే చెప్పండి, ఆ బ్యాచ్ లో జాయిన్ అయిపోతారు.
8 to 9 కూడా అదే బ్యాచ్ అండి.
అదే బ్యాచ్ అండి. మీరు కాదు మీరు షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ వరకు ఈ రెండింటి వరకు తీసుకుంటారేమో అనుకుంటున్నాను. అందుకని
లేదు 8 to 9 కూడా సేమ్ కోర్స్ కాంటాక్ట్.
ఎన్ని డేస్ ఉంటుందండి మీరు చెప్పిన దాన్ని బట్టి?
అదే చెప్తాను, 10 అవర్స్ ఉంటుంది.
10 అవర్స్ ఉంటుంది. షెల్ స్క్రిప్టింగ్ ఎంత ఇంకా 10 అవర్స్ ఉంటుందా, లేదా టోటల్ గా 60 అవర్స్ ఉంటుందండి?
60 అవర్స్.
మాకు ఏ రోజు సెషన్ రోజు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ తిరిగి వినాలంటే వీడియోస్ ఇస్తారు కదా, మాకు మెయిల్ పంపిస్తారు కదా.
ఎవరైతే రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకుంటారో
మాకే రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకున్న వాళ్ళకి
whoever registered, they'll get the videos, soft copies, materials.
Sir, 8 to 9 బ్యాచ్ కొత్త బ్యాచ్ లేకపోతే ఆల్రెడీ స్టార్ట్ అయిన
బ్యాచ్? ఈ రోజు డెమో ఇచ్చాను. ఈ రోజు డెమో ఇచ్చాను, రేపటి నుంచి బ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే, 8 to 9 అంటున్నారు కదా, మూవ్ చేస్తాను.
8 to 9.
ఓకే సార్.
Anaki, okay, 8 o'clock batch?
Yes, yes. రెండు ఓకేనండి నాకు. 8 to 9 అయినా 9 to 10 అయినా ఓకే.
Okay, you better continue from tomorrow 9 to 10 only. Once you people are registered, then I'll club the batch.
Yeah, we can start with the
8 to 9 also tries.
Allow the DURGASOFT team to coordinate with you, and we'll decide the timings from tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to start the actual classes, not demo. Just a minute.
ఓకేనండి శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, అంతే కదండి? ఇంకా నేను డ్రాప్ అయిపోతున్నానండి. రేపు క్లాస్కి జాయిన్ అవుతాను.
ఓకే.
నాకు కాకపోతే ఏంటంటే నాకు నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయితే క్లియర్గా ఇవేనండి. నాకు నేను లినక్స్ సర్టిఫికేషన్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను. బేసిక్స్ అడ్మిన్ 8 o'clock జాయిన్ అమ్మంటారు, అంతేగా? నాకు అదే, నేను అడ్మిన్ కాంటాక్ట్ చేస్తానండి ఒకసారి. సరే.
So tomorrow, whoever interested, 8 o'clock, they can join 8 o'clock. Whoever interested to come at 9 o'clock, they can come at 9 o'clock as a wish. Both the fresh batches from tomorrow, 8 o'clock onwards, 10 o'clock.
Okay.